2022 was the strongest year for gold demand in over a decade. It's because we've been buying it all, right? So the World Gold Council just released a little bit of data. 2022 was the strongest year for gold demand since 2011. And 2011 was a pretty crazy year for gold. And that demand, it came from both retail and from central bank purchases, not just one or the other. So it was a huge year, really, at a time when gold seemed kind of boring. And I don't mean that as an insult. Boring, not really an insult to me. I'm going to tell you about boring in a minute. But first, I'm coming up on a 3-year mark here on YouTube. I've been watching them longer than that, of course, but I've been posting here for just about 3 years. I think I'm a little over a week out. And in that time, I've posted what I've been up to with gold. I've given some tips. I've given some things to avoid, some things I've screwed up, some things maybe I got right. But something that's hard to demonstrate when you're talking about a financial asset is that even if I was upside down on my gold purchases, even if I was buying through a boring time, maybe even caught a price slide, even if the spot price of gold had dropped since I started posting about it, I'd still call the whole thing a win. Now let's keep things straight here. I'm not actually upside down. In February of 2020, when I started posting, the spot price of gold was around $1,500. And the year prior to that, it was $1,300. So I'm doing fine with it, but this was never about multiplying my money, not in February of 2020, and not now. We're coming off of a record year for gold demand, 2022. We're seeing a strong year already starting out in 2023, coming off a particularly strong January. So I'm just going to put it out there. Even though I'm not buying gold for the gains, it does feel pretty good right now. And sometimes I think you just have to stop and allow yourself maybe even a pat on the back because it's a good game. It's not painful to save this way, probably least painful way I can come up with. And the bonus is that it's also been growing in value. It's not always the case. I don't even need it to be, but it has worked out in that regard. And I think probably a lot of you are in the same place. You're using it as a practical savings, but you're seeing some gains on top. Now, the current price, current demand, and the current trend, they're all a little bit secondary to me. I'd probably be buying gold even if spot price was only reported twice a year. It's more about locking in assets, dropping them in the metaphorical freezer, and then repeating. Now, there are always going to be people out there who won't see it through that lens. They'll compare it to equities or bonds or Bitcoin or something else. And in the 3 years that I've been posting these videos, I've noticed that there's always that person out there looking to let you know that you made a bad move. I've been called dumb for buying gold. I've been told I'd be sorry for selling silver, called an idiot for buying Bitcoin or ETH. I've been called a backpatter when I got some of that capital back into gold. And I've been all the things, not necessarily in the full court of public opinion, but there's always that 1% fringe. Okay, maybe it's more like 2% on those silver decisions, but there are always going to be people out there who are just against you. Now, I'm the first to admit that I do make some happy idiot moves now and then. I definitely make some mistakes, but gold ownership has not been one of them. I don't mean that in any kind of I told you so way to the haters. 95% of you out there have been buying right along with me. And for that 4%, the people still on the fence, not hating, not buying, just kind of not quite sure about this stuff, maybe this means something to you. If you're on that fence, I've been buying for what I consider to be a long time now. It hasn't been painful at any point, and it's something that I enjoy a lot more than I thought I would. It's something that has redirected wasted cash into another thing that actually grew in value, like 30% since we started talking about it here in 2020. I'd say that's pretty good. Now back to the macro trend and global opinion, the world saw an increase in overall gold demand of 18% year over year to 4,741 tons. Now you have to go back to 2011 to see numbers like that. And in the fourth quarter, 2022, demand was 1,337 tons. And you can go back as far as you'd like, but that's a record. So if you've been buying, you've been making that decision along with countries and kings, well, probably not a lot of kings in play anymore. But the only boring part is that the price of gold in 2022, it gained 0.08%. So not even 0.1%. So any of those gold is surging or gold got pummeled stories that we told in 2022, well, they turned out to be kind of foolish. The real story here has been that more people than ever are buying it. At the personal level, I just think it's smart regardless of what anyone else is doing or what the spot price is doing, more or less, simply because I've found ways to do it that haven't been painful. It's actually been kind of fun. Now, what I'm having fun with right now is just working on tubes and picking up minor numismatic pieces every once in a while and trying not to overthink things too much. Now, I do watch spot price. I watch it because I know I can save some costs each month, but that's fun too. It's kind of the game aspect. It's like betting on horses where the results mean maybe you win or lose $30 towards a purchase. So pretty low stakes in the wider plan. So if you've been at it for a while, if you just got into it more recently, or if you're just now considering it, well, you aren't alone. We're seeing record activity. We're seeing a 6% gain so far in 2023, even with spot price bouncing around this week in the new inflation and jobs data. So it's been a good decision, however you look at it. So let's call it good there. Hit up the comments with your take on the idea. Is this dumb? Is it smart? Crazy? Crazy like a fox? Let us know. And while you're in the comments, be sure to hit the like button if you found any of this interesting. Huge help to the channel. Be sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on if you'd like to see more on the topic. And if you're still here, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.